Hey everybody, welcome to the Pipe Farthing. Coming out tonight for an overnight trip, and the mosquitoes are horrendous, so I had to throw on my netting pants. I'll probably have to throw some socks on here in a few minutes, but we're just gonna get set up for camp. But while I do that, while I set up my tarp, let's go over a few items. Let's go over five things that will, I don't know, simplify your life. Like, it's not just these 5 things. There are multiple things we need to, I guess, get right in life to have a more simple life or more peaceful life. But these are 5 things, and I'm sure I'll add to this over the months and over the years. But anyway, 5 things that will simplify your life, and they should lessen your stress. So as I get this set up, let's go ahead and talk through those. How's that sound? My first suggestion is this. I'm going to set this tarp up a little lower because I'm doing a bivvy tonight, not a hammock. But let your less, I can't speak. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. We read that multiple times in Scripture in various forms. In Matthew, on the Sermon on the Mount, seems to indicate your yes for the Lord. Let that be yes and your no be no. If you're going to say yes to the Lord, then do it. Then get on board. Let's do this. I'm thinking more along the lines of what we read in James, where it literally says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. I'm having a hard time speaking today. A couple of thoughts on that. Let's go ahead and get this other side set up, and we'll keep talking about that. When I think about this particular concept, if you will, I think of 2 things immediately. One is, why do we say yes and why do we say no to certain things? If we are saying no to perhaps something that's physically challenging, or maybe we're saying no to something that is emotionally challenging, perhaps it's an area of conflict or unease, we might say no, but we really want to say yes. Now, if we say no to something because we know it could unnecessarily cause bodily harm, like me, I have not been, as you can tell, exercising very well lately in the last year and a half. It would be probably pretty foolish for me to jump in and try to do a marathon right now. But if somebody said, in 2 months, let's do a half marathon, I might be more apt to accept that challenge. It would give me probably some motivation to go ahead and start running again and getting in that kind of shape. But if I say no just because I'm scared of failing, or don't want to put in the work, and I'm beating myself up for that, I'm saying no for the wrong reason, right? I'm not saying no out of freedom. I'm saying no out of some sort of fear, or I'm saying no out of some kind of vow that I can't succeed, this lie that I'm not good enough. That's not an occasion that you want to say yes or no. And you want to be able to say yes or no in freedom. You want to be able to say yes or no in truth, so that when you do say yes and when you do say no, you're at peace, you're at rest. The other aspect of saying yes and meaning it, saying no and meaning it, is simply to follow through with your obligations. It's an act of charity, right? To don't always say yes to everything just because you want to be nice. If you literally can't do it, if you don't have the time, if you don't have the capacity, make sure that you say no. But also don't say no just because you don't want to. But if you do say yes, follow through with that. If you do say no, say it in freedom, right? And say it with charity. Maybe offer some other way you can help if that's a possibility. You don't always have to, but that might be a possibility for you. If you mean yes when you say yes, and mean no when you say no. If you are able to do this in freedom, that will be less stressful on your life, I promise you. All right, let's keep setting this up and we'll talk about number 2. Well, number 2 is this, and we see a line in James once again, in chapter 1, that says, be quick to hear, but slow to speak and slow to anger. Because our anger is, I'm going to paraphrase this a minute, but does not lend itself towards the righteousness of the Lord. It doesn't give good witness to the righteousness of the Lord. I forget the exact second part of that verse, but it's something along those lines. The important part is be quick to hear, but slow to speak and slow to anger. I think this is very, very important. So let's sum this up. Number 2 is don't react. Be slow to respond and be slow to act. Not lazy, not procrastinating, but think before you act. Think before you speak. Think before you react or respond. It's really easy. I keep moving here because of the bugs. It's really easy these days to have a very reactionary spirit. The news, everything politically, sports, everything is a hot take. Everything on, not everything, got to be careful of that, but so much on Instagram, YouTube, all the social media, it's always like the hot take, or it's always a first impression or a first look, or a quick response, a quick reaction. And so many times we don't even have all the facts. And so we get so much wrong by doing that. So in the large scheme of things, slow down and do not react so quickly to things. From a practical standpoint, get your facts straight first. Make sure you have all the information you need. And then think about it. Because some things might give us that initial anger reaction. It might frustrate us. It might make us impatient. It might hit on a sensitivity. Well, that's never the time to respond. There's a line in parenting is, don't parent from a level 5. We need to step back and evaluate what's really happening so that when we do respond, whether that's through speaking or an action, we're not doing it out of raw, unchecked emotion, but we're able to, once again, exercise some sort of freedom in proper perspective on what's actually going on in the situation. And I thought I grabbed a 4th steak, but apparently I didn't. So let's grab one. So the third, I really think I grabbed one. That's so weird. Okay, well the third, go down here now. Piece of advice for a simpler, less stressful life is don't lie. Now, you might think, well, duh. Sure, but how often do we lie, right? And it might be just a moment of fudging the truth, not sharing everything that should be shared, or even, I think gossiping fits under this, right? Again, a practical thing. Mark Twain, there's this quote. I don't know where it's from. I've always seen it attributed to him, is, if you don't lie, you never have to remember anything. Now, how can that not lead to a less stressful life? Seems like a pretty good norm. Don't lie. Give the other person what is owed them in their understanding of reality, of what's really going on. Right? So don't lie, don't embellish, but tell the truth. It'll be less stressful. You don't have to remember everything then. Because if you tell a lie, you got to keep that lie perpetuating until you either grow some humility or get humbled. All right, I'm going to finish staking this out and kind of evaluate what's going on, and then we'll talk about number 4 and 5. I tell you, these bugs are getting ridiculous. This bivvy setup is pretty cool. They got these 2 stays, one here and one in the back. You'll see it in a minute. Genius, they put a loop here with, I think these are called line locks. So no knots or anything, you just slide this up. Just like I was setting up my tarp, this is the same thing. You just go up and through and then down. Now that is not number 4. Number 4, see how nice that is already? Look at that. And I'm just coming right off my tarp line, which is pretty cool. It's not supposed to rain, so I'm not worried about water coming down tonight. So number 4, grow something. Grow something. And if possible, grow something that you can eat. Now, if you just love flowers and want to grow flowers, go ahead and do that too. The point will be nearly the same. But if you grow something that you can eat, think about everything that you learn. You've got to do some preparation. You've got to do some planning, some research. You need to then prepare the soil. You need to properly plant the seed, know how much to water it, when to water it. You need to tend the soil. You need to tend to the plant. That will teach you a lot about yourself and a lot about life. If you start thinking about growing something as a metaphor for life, and I think it's a wonderful metaphor for life. Grow something. Watch it grow. It will teach you a lot. And then if you grow something that you can eat, you get to benefit from the fruits of your labor. And how cool is that? How stinking cool is that? All right, so number 5, the last one, again, of my very, very not exhaustive list about having a more simple life is read good books. Now, why do we read good books? We read good books because, okay, for a lot of reasons. The point I'm going to get to, because this video is probably getting too long already. One of the reasons we want to read good books is the characters, we can relate to the characters, right? We can see what this character is going through or that character is going through, and we can relate it to our life. It becomes almost a real life examination of conscience, where the struggles that that character's having could be the very same struggles that we're having in life. And so we can share in those, and we can see what that struggle or that virtue looks like in multiple situations in a way that is, I hate to say it because it sounds so woke, but in a way that's safe. We get to play it out. We get to watch it from the sidelines, but it will certainly resonate with us. We'll see our emotions flare up. We'll get excited. We might get agitated, okay? But listen to your body, listen to your emotions as you read good books, because you can learn from those characters and you can apply that to your own life. And then from there, determine what, if any, actions are necessary in your own life. The bonus one for this is pray, but that's a whole nother topic. So we'll bring that on another one. So the one that you need above all else is to pray. Now, if any of this stressed you out, especially about the characters and relating to the characters and maybe being agitated or excited and joyful about a character, or at the start about your yes meaning yes and your no meaning no, if any of that kind of stressed you out about the freedom part, in a couple videos I'm going to do part 2 of my book list, and it's going to focus on books that will help us discern through all of that. Anyway, I'm going to finish setting up my camp. It's kind of hard to walk and talk at the same time for this guy. And hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you got something out of it. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought. And we'll see you guys on the next video. God bless you all. Talk to you later.